Welcome back here, folks, to Dusty Tracks BC. I am in this lovely business. You wouldn't, well, you will know it in just a moment here. Sitting in Goats and Hose Company, or Co., with the owner, Jan. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us into your business and also your house.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a cool opportunity. I couldn't pass it up.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. We hope to have many more cool opportunities for local artisans and musicians and the like. So, yeah, I am looking at a lot of soap right now. Tell me, when did you first start making soap?
So I started approximately, well, there was kind of a weird timeline, about 3 to 4 years ago. And I was just doing it as, well, I'll back up a little bit. We kind of went through a big crisis, big trauma, huge event. And we did well the first year. And then after that, we just kind of all fell apart. And so part of, I think, my healing and part of holding myself together and distracting myself a little bit from the traumatic event and, the things that my children were going through. I thought I'd better find a really good hobby where I could do it any time of night, any time of day, any season, and not drink myself silly. So that was my criteria. And I had always wanted to learn how to make soap. And so I delved right in and I just started watching YouTube. I started reading as many books as I could read. And then I started making these little creations and I put them on my Instagram, and I got the oohs and ahs, and, because soap is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's actually chemistry, which is really, really neat. So I was using my brain, which is great. And then as the posts got more often with soap, I was working in Kimberley at Arrow and Axe. I don't know if you get a chance to go up to Arrow and Axe in Kimberley.
Check it out.
Definitely check it out. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. They try to support as many local artisans as possible. It's about local, BC, and Canadian, and then the best kind of products in the world that they can find. So that's sort of their motto. And so I started making this, and they were like, "Jan, I think you need to try and sell it." I said, "Are you joking? What the heck?" So yeah, I put it into their store and it sold out. And then I put in another batch and it sold out. And then I thought, oh, wow, this is amazing. So I contacted a friend of mine who does design. And I said, this is kind of what I'm looking for. And she came up with this amazing brand for me. And so we just kind of went from there. And then it snowballed. And now
the brand it is today.
Here we are.
Yeah.
It went from a hobby to now I do it full time. So but I've taken the last few months off because it's not market season. So we're just coming into market season. So I'm just starting to really stock up and
that's right.
For the summer.
Yeah, you also sell the.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but there's a humming in the background.
There is.
Oh.
It's the stove.
All those technical things. Perfect.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, that was exactly it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, as you two were.
Yeah.
You sell at a few different stores. We actually we came across your soap in a bit of a co-op. They had an ice cream sign outside, and we were wandering around the town of Cranbrook, and we were like, oh, it's ice cream hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
we stopped in and we saw this lovely array of very similar to this actually.
Yeah.
And a few bath bombs and things like that, and we thought this is exactly our type of coverage that we want to see. So. But you also sell at the farmers market?
I'm at farmers markets. Yeah. I think last year I did close to 20 markets, and then this year I have more. I'm trying to get also into Alberta, so I've been going to Alberta and doing a number out there. Yeah, yeah, it's good. And then online sales keep me really busy too.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at the moment I'm in 16 stores.
In Cranbrook or
No,
around BC?
all across Canada.
Across Canada.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's pretty exciting.
So it's definitely blown up from just
From my little hobby that I
yeah.
obsessed over at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
Midnight hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many? I'm looking at this rack of soap here, and you said
Yeah.
it was a fraction of what you usually have during peak season.
Yeah.
Peak selling season.
Yeah.
How many varieties do you have?
I typically have about 70 different scents. So I do
70.
70. Yeah. Yeah. But it's getting scaled back because it's a little bit much.
Sounds like a lot of inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a guy's line, and then I have also developed. My son encouraged me to develop little, what do you call them? Solid colognes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's just kind of like a one-time use. You put it on, and then a couple hours later, you put it on again, and keep
cool.
refreshing your scent, and then you just stick it in your pocket. And so I have a full line that goes with the colognes and the soaps together, so you kind of get a double whammy. So that's for the guys, and I think I have about 15 scents at the moment. I don't have that many colognes. I think I've got 5 colognes that go with them.
So it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is. I'm a little busy. And then for women's is, I think, close to 30 at the moment. So what's that? Close to 50 different scents. But
that is wild.
yeah. But I am scaling that back because it's a little bit much. But people are always like, hey, why don't you try this scent? Or why don't you try this combination? And why don't you try this clay product? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So all of a sudden I've got a new line. I'm like, oh, whoops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that feedback coming from clientele? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a very like interactive.
Very.
Interactive front.
Yeah, my brand is very, very authentic. It's very creative, and it's all about connecting. So it's so cool that you picked up a bar of my soap and went, oh my goodness, that's so cool. Let's connect.
Yeah.
Right. That is actually my goal with my brand. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to be sitting here in your kitchen.
In my little kitchen.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have to ask. Do any of your children use your products?
They all use it.
Yeah.
The girls tend to use more like Bath and Body Works kind of. Is it Bath and Body Works? What's the one that?
Lush?
No, it's the one that has all the candles and all the sprays and.
Oh,
what's that one called?
Not HomeSense.
No.
I don't know my. Yeah, clearly I don't.
We go there every time we go to the city. We have to go and buy 27 different candles and all the things, and so yeah. So I mean, they typically, they like those ones a little bit more, but they 100% believe in my product, and they actually come to markets with me, and we work as a family and we sell our
family
things.
event. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh no, I can't use mom stuff. I'm gonna go. Axe or something.
No. And my son believes in it so much that when he went up to the pipeline, he took, it was like 60 bars. It was like a big box of soap. And he just started selling soap to all the pipeliners. And I got tons and tons of feedback. And I got tons of sales from that too. Yeah, all of a sudden they were on my online presence and just blowing it up.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine that would be a great avenue for marketing your product, and of course your son
absolutely.
as
Well, my son he's very masculine, but he loves his fragrances, and he loves all the scents that go along with
you gotta smell good.
guy stuff. Yeah, so he's really helped me in figuring that aspect out for guys. So he'll just straight up say, "That's awful, Mom." I'm like, "Oh, kind of hurts my soul, but that's okay." Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. I appreciate their honesty.
Nothing like family feedback.
Nothing like family feedback.
It's very honest sometimes and blunt, but
exactly. But when I made the clones, he was like, "Yeah, you need to put these in stores."
That's
I was
great.
like, let's go.
That's great.
So,
And you said they're in a, like, you can put them in your pocket. I'm
yeah,
imagining
yeah,
like a
they're just
chapstick type.
they're like a little tin.
Yeah.
It's just a little slide tin. So you just put a little bit on and then drop it in your pocket, and instead of drenching yourself and being like totally offensive when you walk down a hallway and everyone's like, oh, you know,
Oh yeah.
this is just a little bit, just
yeah.
enough for you and your partner to smell, and
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you're just going to be starting your busy season.
Just coming up next weekend, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the first farmers market?
No, the first one
Or
is
is that-
this weekend.
Okay.
Tomorrow, actually. But I am doing the wedding fair out at Fort Steele. So I'm trying to just kind of see what that market is like, and just see if I could tap into a little bit of maybe bridal showers or, you know, like little gifts.
Yeah.
The little take-home gifts. I don't. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it takes off. If it doesn't, then
That's great. I bet.
Yeah, we'll
I
see what
bet
happens.
that would be a great avenue.
yeah,
I'm
we're
sure.
good to go.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Summertime, people pumping through, and
yeah,
yeah, busy place out
yeah.
there.
And we get lots of Albertans. And you know, right now Alberta's got a fair amount of disposable income, so I'm all for that. So I have a lot of markets in Fairmont this year, because what are they doing? They're just sitting there,
For sure.
you know, cruising down the river or going to the hot springs, and then they're like, hey, let's check out the market.
Yeah.
So I did really well there last year, so I decided to sign up for a number of them this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So tap into Alberta a little bit. I was in
That's-
Lethbridge a couple weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, hit that one. Yeah, there's more coming. Yeah.
So, the midnight hobby turned full time. Full-time?
It's about 3/4 time
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think I'm working on getting this to full time and a part-time employee. Hopefully, and I'd love to hire my daughter. We'll see how that goes. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, because
Fantastic.
she's amazing. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to go from doing it in I don't know what the equipment you use when you first started out, but how long did it take for you to go, okay, I need to expand the equipment, I need to, because I'm sure
Not
there's
long. Not long at all. Well, it took me, let's put it into perspective. Goat milk soap is a little bit more finicky because it gets hot really fast.
Right.
And so I went from just wood molds, which I didn't realize that made it volcano, because it worked as an insulator, so it actually held the heat in.
Of course.
And I went, oh shoot, okay. So back to the drawing board, found, I don't know if you can see, these are silicone. Anyways, it goes into here and goes straight into the freezer. So I had to invest in a whole bunch of those. I think I got 15 of those. And I did that like within the year. Yeah, I kind of made do with some tin foil ones and a few other
Some
things.
homemade.
And then I was like, you know what? If I'm going to actually do this, let's go all in. So yeah, and then I got a nice cutter. I was using this homemade little wood thing that had little slats in it, and I would just shove a piece of metal down. It didn't
Like a
work very
bread
well.
cutter or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't work very well. So I invested in an actual cutter, and that made all the difference too. So now they're starting to look quite professional, and I'm really happy with the look of them, the aesthetic, the smell. Like I'm really starting to fine tune a lot of the things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it took, I would say probably by the time I got everything, about a year. Took a little bit. Because
Oh.
it's not cheap.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
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 All in, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
And then here we go. Yeah, that's
Wow.
good.
So,
Yeah.
so not only soap, but you also you're mentioning that you had baskets of.
Oh yeah. Well, what I like to do is little gift baskets, for different occasions. So this one I did for Mother's Day, but I had a few left over, so I'm going to take it to the wedding fair tomorrow and just see if anyone might be interested in a bridal shower gift or something like that. And I've figured out bath bombs and the little wax sachets. These are really cool, actually. These are really popular in Europe. And it's just soy wax with botanicals and essential oils. And you can hang them in a small space like a closet or shoe closet. underwear drawer, those kinds of things that you want to freshen up. Not for cars.
Not for cars.
Not for cars. No, my friend did that, and it just, she
Everywhere.
went to work and came home, and she's like, just so you know. And it was just this melted mess all down. I said, well, so I warned you, I don't know what to say.
I'm sure it'll smell good for quite a long time, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Her car's going to smell great. And then I have these little botanical bath shots, which are super, super fun. They're like bath salts, but they have little botanicals, and you can stick them in a little tea bag if you don't like the botanicals floating around in your bath. And so that's sort of a little one bath shot. And then, and then just some soaps.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a bar of soap and making a bath bomb? I know nothing about making soap. I'll put
that's
that out
okay.
there.
No, that's totally fine. So the soap is used to actually get clean, right? Whereas a bath bomb is, it dissolves in the water and it just makes it aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
This has a little bit of goat milk in it, like dried goat milk, so you get the benefits of all the amino acids, and it makes your skin feel really, really good. But it's like a one-time use, so it's not like soap where you can use it over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a different process to make versus
Yes.
making soap to bath bomb?
Huge. Yeah. These are made with a little mold.
Okay.
The base ingredients are citric acid and baking soda. So that's what gives you the fizz. So it moves around the tub and kind of fizzes, and it's kind of fun. And then I do put some botanicals in, most of them too, because I love botanicals.
Yeah,
I just think they're so pretty.
Yeah.
So, but not everyone does. I have one of my really good friends is like, "Can you stop putting stuff on your stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, but it's pretty."
So they would be more putting it in the bath shot.
Yeah. This would be more their option with the little tea bag. Yeah, I know. But I do like to listen to my customers and go, okay, I'll make some different options for you.
Right. Yeah, like you're saying, very open to feedback. And,
yeah.
and listen to your
Absolutely, all the time. As long as it comes in positive criticism, I can handle. If you come blasting at me, I'm like, I'm going to shut down. I'm like, no,
block.
I put my heart and soul into this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think the selling feature with my soap is that it's not like it's pretty, but I mean anyone can really make soap. But the selling feature is the connecting point of the branding with the descriptions on it. So I'll have people come to my booth and they'll be like, "Oh, soap! I love soap," and then they'll start picking it up, and then they'll start looking at it and going, "You've got to be joking." You're kidding. And then they pick up another one and go, "Oh, I'm going to buy that for so-and-so. I'm going to, yeah." So this one's the man cold.
Yeah.
Then this one, it smells like a near-death experience. So Christmas time, a lot of wives were buying this for their husbands. They thought that was absolutely hilarious. Yes. And Morgan's wedding, I named this one after my best friend, who I met her for the first time, and I was like, "You're really pretty, and my husband thinks you're pretty, and I think I don't like you." Oh. And then I went to church one Sunday. It was Mother's Day, and I hate Mother's Day. If any of my children, if you ever talk to my children, if you talk to any of my friends, they know how much I absolutely hate Mother's Day. It's totally pointless. Everyone's on their best behavior for like 2 hours, and then it's all like mayhem.
Not the duration.
Not the whole day. It's like, can you just give me a day? How about a week? Can we just try to get along a day? Whatever. Anyway, so I walked into church and I dropped an F-bomb and I said, "I effing hate Mother's Day." And Morgan turns around and she goes, "I think we should be friends." And I'm like, "I don't think we should. My husband thinks you're really cute." Anyways, time went on and I was like, "Oh my goodness, she's so cool." So she never got married and she's 40. But I named it Morgan's Wedding because I was so hopeful that she was going to get married in the last 10 years. And so anyways, that's the Morgan story.
That's
poor
funny.
Morgan. I know.
Yeah.
But
similar to your company name, there's, and I think we'll grab some other separate shots of this, but like you're saying, like the man cold or Morgan's Wedding. There's some good ones.
There are,
yeah.
So Tidy Tiddly Bits I'm sorry. But Tati Fiddly Bits was named after my first Brazilian wax. It smells like a day at the spa, but you don't know. You don't know. You don't know that it's about my first Brazilian. But that's actually how that one came up. I told you, you guys were going to be like shocked.
Oh no, this is we're definitely all here for it. Yeah.
So Morning Wood, that was another. My dad was horrified when I made this one. So it's an arousing morning perk me up with undertones of sugared spruce. I was like, oh, that's a good manly one.
Sugared spruce. I will say,
sugared spruce. Yeah,
I will say,
an arousing morning perk me up.
Yeah. That's
so good.
That's very funny. Yeah.
Garden Hoe is really popular right now. This is actually going to Coots Roots. This is my order for them. Yeah, for this week. So Garden Hoe smells like a dirty girl. So that one's this. Yeah, that one's coming. It's good. It's good. Heaven Sent smells like angelic farts. That one's actually smells like sweet peas, which is
sweet peas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy, hey? Yeah.
That's wild.
So a lot of these things come to me in the middle of the night when I can't sleep or I'm stressed and I'm like, I need to think of descriptions or soap names or, yeah.
Do you ever have, previous clients or hopeful clients come to you and go, oh, I've got a great name for a...
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. In fact, that's part of the next glow up of my business is to provide a little bit of a connecting community where we can brainstorm names and, just be a little bit more connecting with each other, where it's not all coming from me, where it's actually coming from friends and community members and people online. It's coming. It's coming. I'm working on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to filter a lot.
We're going to call it the Hoe House Community. So when you walk into my property, initially I would put a table out by the where the cars come.
Yeah.
And people would just pick up their stuff out front at the house, yeah. But then there started to be people who would take my stuff and I'd be like, are you kidding me? That's terrible. So then I put online, I was like, I need one of those little boxes, the little libraries that people have.
Totally.
That are out by their sidewalks or a little pantry or whatever. Well, my friend, she made this gorgeous, it looks like an old house. And so you probably missed it, but that's okay. I'll show you on the way out. And we named it the Hoe House. And so when I tell people to come pick some stuff at my house, I'm like, just grab it from the Hoe House. And they're like, what's the Hoe House? So I shoot them a picture. I'm like, it's not what you think. So anyway, yeah. No, that's our little pickup spot. That's a little bit more discreet than just a big table out by the sidewalk.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the plus side of that, and flip side of that, maybe the passerbyers, the snatch and grabs.
Yeah.
At least they smell good now.
Well, and that's what I thought. I was like, that sucks. And then I'm like, well, they probably need it more than some people. Maybe they smell bad. Maybe I don't know. Maybe their mom needed a Mother's Day gift. I don't know.
It allowed to be, nice for a couple hours.
Exactly. My hatred for Mother's Day.
Oh my
so bad. So yeah. So you were talking about how many bars of soap I have at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it does look like I have a lot. I have approximately 1,200.
To my eyes, it looks like a lot.
Yeah. It's not. It's not. Over when the season really picks up, I'll have 5,000 or 6,000 curing at one time in the house. So we're actually looking to hopefully get some property with a shop on it, and then I can work also without distractions for my children.
Expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're making coffee in the morning and you're still soaping, I'm sure it's or
and then all of a sudden everyone comes in and everyone has a lot to say, and I'm like, I need to work.
So you're going to expand to your own workshop?
That's the plan. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To house multiple racks like that. Which yeah.
That's.
And you said you had 7 to 8 racks that size?
I did. Yes. Over Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I wanted my living room back.
all throughout the house.
Oh, it's the
Soap
basement
here,
is
soap there.
the basement's all full of soap paraphernalia. But yeah, no, I needed some space back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a small house,
Yeah.
but
I'm sure
I would like to have my
it's-
house back.
I'm sure it's very fragrant as soon as it warms up. Or
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really smell it much more anymore, to be honest. I don't know. Did you smell it when you came in? Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Smells great.
good.
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 I think we thought it smelled
It was
fantastic.
better than smelling like dog, or which it could
So-
also smell like.
You can buy the shoes now, but it's nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You
We'll
don't
try
want
and
to
walk
be
some
better
of
shoes.
Like a nice smack in the face.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
So, but expanding though,
Mm-hmm.
and also possibly taking on an extra set of hands.
That's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it all by myself for too much longer.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the process, like, walk me through it because I've never made soap before. I've definitely used it before, but
Yeah,
I don't.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to get the lowdown.
Get the
on
lowdown?
on how the process of it and like how it's cured and
For sure.
start to finish.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and I did kind of prep things, so
Yeah.
we can definitely have a look at how I do things. Every soap maker is completely different.
Right.
It's funny because I've kind of got into this little soaping community, and they're like, "Oh, you put yours straight in the freezer? You don't let it go through gel phase?" I'm like, "No, I put it straight in the freezer so it doesn't explode." They're like, "Oh, well, that makes sense." And so, it's kind of a really cool community of soap makers because it's competitive in that, yeah, everyone wants to do their best,
Yeah.
but it's not competitive in that we want everyone to do well. And so, there's a ton of sharing of tips and what worked for people. One person may work for someone else, and where we got some clays or where we got some product that was a little bit cheaper. It's so cool. It's such a neat community. I had no idea that even existed
Wow.
until I started. Yeah,
So it's like
getting
an
involved in these
open
groups.
arms, sharing tips and
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, like online, I'm a part of a group that has over 30,000 soap makers in it, and everyone's posting things all day, and it's like, this is so cool. Who knew it could be a soap geek? I had no idea I'd be a soap geek. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited that people love that I'm a soap geek.
yeah,
I can tell people, and they're like, that's actually really cool.
it is.
And I'm like, I think it's cool too. But I wouldn't expect everyone to think it's cool because it's not like a doctor or a lawyer or, or even some more engaging
Right.
kind of professions. I'm
Right.
like, I'm a soap maker, but it's cool.
I think like personally, because I don't know the process behind it, and
Yeah.
I'm always curious, like how are things made?
Yeah.
Like how is anything made? So
And tactile. I love tactile learning.
and you're using
Yeah.
it every day, or
Yeah.
well, you should be.
Yeah.
So
In theory.
it's something that you're handling,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, where does this come from,
Yeah, totally.
right? And
Totally.
and to have a community that's
Yeah.
like open and
Yeah.
talking about the trade, the ins and outs of the trade.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
And I have to say, Cranbrook has been so welcoming to my weird soap idea. They have been so incredible.
That's good.
The stores here are so community focused and local focused. It's amazing.
We've noticed that, and it's definitely definitely what ties together a community.
Absolutely.
Those little
Absolutely.
pieces of like community.
Yeah.
Really. So, yeah.
Yeah. But then you find that, when they support you, you give back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So when the brownies come, I'm like, yeah, I'll buy all the cookies. You betcha I'm buying the cookies. Or, the softball team's like, hey, we need a donation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now there's
That's
a
great.
CrossFit place in Marysville. It's like, hey, would you put stuff in our swag bags? I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'll totally throw soap in your swag bags
that's a
for all your
great-
stinky athletes.
That's
Yes.
That's a great relationship.
I
yeah.
know. So they're getting the scrub your pits soap bars and their swag bags.
I'm sure they'll appreciate it. I guarantee they will.
What can I do for that? So yeah, no, I mean, just it's been a phenomenal community.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can show you quick how to
For sure,
to run this.
Yeah, I think
little
we'd
process
all.
through.
Yeah, do we want to get a view of? Oh yeah, putting on the apron and.
I need to put on the apron.
Yeah.
Can we see all these soaps too?
Yep, you sure can. Yeah.
You want to point at some more of them? I know you've already talked about quite a few.
I think we held up. Oh, this is.
That was the
This
morning
is
wood.
Yeah. The juniper. No.
Nope, this one's juniper. Oh, where's juniper? Juniper and moss is right here.
Right. Yeah, smells quite good. There was a pea one. I don't know if that's here. I also don't recall the name of it.
Was that the sweet pea?
Sweet pea, yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Or
Heaven Sent. That's this one. This one's called Love You Long Time. And the explanation is low expectations. Smells like low expectations. And I made Kootenai Tropics in a 40-degree below winter.
Oh my goodness.
And that was, it was a couple years ago. It says the only hint of summer is in your shower right now. Because it was cold. It was cold.
Quite the opposites there.
Quite the opposites. And then I'm starting a Kootenai collection too. So this one is called Tanglefoot Lake. And it smells like mountain meadows and wildflowers. And I love all of the different design in that one. That one came out.
How is that created? I'm sure
the layers?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you how I do it. Yeah, it's not rocket science, but it looks pretty phenomenal.
it looks like it's an art piece for sure.
And this one is Lucier Hot Springs. If you get a chance to go to Lucier Hot Springs, I don't know if you're headed that way. You did.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very secret spot. I don't know.
Not really.
I'm sure out here.
But this one smells like Happy Hippies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We ran into some of those probably.
Were they nudists?
No.
Because we've run into the most naked people out there every single time. It's wild.
I haven't had the fortune.
Oh. So yeah. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
This is a little bit of my selection, but like I said, in peak season, there's usually 6 or 7. Yeah, scrub your pits. Yeah.
Is that a bit of kiwi or?
No, it has. It's orange.
Oh, okay.
So it has orange, like dried orange rind, and poppy seeds in it.
Poppy seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Give it a little bit of a scrub.
Pretty good. You want to behind the camera?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then this one's
fantastic.
Black Cherry Merlot. Let's see if I have a newer bar. The newer bar looked prettier. Yeah, there we go. And that one smells like Cougar on the Loose. So that was more my floozy stage. Not gonna lie. But yeah.
Wild.
This one is my new Rocky Mountain Range soap. So it actually has like different layers for the mountains, which was kind of fun. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's super cute. So I'm going to work on perfecting this one. It's not perfected yet.
Right.
But I do like that one.
It definitely, and a little bit unfortunately, but it looks like a little bit of the most recent BC summer sunsets.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, which is a very striking, view.
It is. So when Fisher Peak, you know about Fisher Peak, right? Which is our biggest peak in the area, in the Rocky Mountains in our area. When the sun sets, sometimes the whole sky goes purple and pink. And it reflects off of, if there's a little bit of snow on the mountain, it just reflects off of there. And it is absolutely the most stunning thing I've ever seen. So when I came here, I was like, oh my goodness, my soul is at rest. Here we are. I'm home. I'm never leaving.
That's right. When did you move to Cranbrook?
I moved here 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been here for quite a while. Raised our kids here. Followed a guy, got married, all the things. So yeah, I need some gloves.
Okay.
I will get you some gloves too.
Okay.
And then we can go from there. There you go. Hopefully those fit. I got mediums. I don't have any bigger ones. Come on into the soup kitchen. So I have everything kind of set out already.
All right.
What is in here? Actually, you can put this in. So in here is palm oil and coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put in the olive oil. And if
Okay.
you want to scrape that out, there you go.
The whole batch?
Put the whole
The whole
thing
pitcher?
in. Yeah, absolutely. Just plop her in.
I feel like a real scientist.
I know, right? Isn't it fun? Yeah, exactly. It's all on you. Yeah, good.
Definitely reminds me of well, I've only just started, but it definitely reminds me of a little bit of baking.
Of like foods class.
First, well, yeah,
Yeah.
just like baking at home.
Or making a cake.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar to making a cake,
Yeah.
actually. Except when you get to the lye, it's not quite the same.
I bet, yeah.
If you want to give it a really good stir with the
Yeah.
blender, if you keep it down below, it doesn't spray all over.
Right?
Yeah. So there's nothing caustic in here. This is just oil. Give it a really good blend, and if it gets on you, it's not going to do
Okay.
anything. I should have my hair up. I didn't even think about that. Oh well. We'll be like Martha Stewart today and not worry about it.
How's that?
Yep, that's pretty good. That's great.
Leave it in, or you can use it again?
You can just put it on the side.
Okay.
I'll have
Do
to
you
wash
wanna-
the whole thing.
Do you want a little dish or something?
Nope. No, I have to wipe the whole thing down anyways, so don't worry about it. Okay, so now we're going to add the lye.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, we're going to add the oil. So this is it's fragrance oil and essential oils.
Okay.
And we're going to do, it's called strawberries and champagne. So you can smell it. It actually smells like strawberries and champagne.
Oh, yeah.
You smell that?
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really strong right now, but once it's in the soap and it's
Concentrated form, and then it disperses
and
a
it
little
cures, then it settles down. Yeah.
bit. Wow.
So this is our lye solution.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 12 ounces of water, 12 ounces of lye, and I made it earlier and I just cooled it
Okay.
because everything has to be at room temperature.
Warm water, and then
No, cold.
mix is easier? No.
Cold, yep. You know, it gets to almost 200 degrees, just cold water.
Ah.
It's crazy, yeah.
That's wild.
So as soon as I add, actually, you know what? I'm going to add this first. We're going to give this a good stir. If you want to stir, you can go.
Sure.
Actually, we got to be super, super quick at this stage.
Okay, yeah.
So give her a
I'll
good
let you-
stir. And then we're going to do.
Stir as we're adding the lye, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want an apron?
Uh,
You should be good.
I'm
but-
all right. I'll be
okay.
all right.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. We got lye water.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it start to thicken right up.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then we're going to add milk. I just stir really fast there. There you go. So this batch will make almost 30 bars.
Wow.
Yeah, when it's all done. Good.
Good there?
I'm just going to
Yeah, go for
get
it.
a couple of spots
Yeah.
here and just really work it around. Yeah, you get the pretty bee one. That wasn't very thoughtful of me. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's totally fine. I have mini black shirts.
Okay.
My sister-in-law was just making fun of me for
That's so
only
good.
having
Is
black
that what you
shirts.
wear? Just black?
Yeah,
I
for
love
now.
it.
For now.
For now. I love that.
At least you have a different black shirt.
This
Exactly.
is good. This is good. Okay, we have to keep going
Alright.
for a little bit. It needs to thicken.
Yeah,
So if
it
you wanna-
definitely looks like it's
It's starting.
It's thickening right
it's
now.
starting. Yeah.
Kind of like when you cornstarch and flour to your gravy.
Yeah.
Your
Exactly.
meat trimmings, and then
Exactly.
a little bit of heat.
It's gonna go in here.
How does it feel to have someone else mixing it?
It's weird. I keep wanting to grab it. Like, hang on.
If at any time, yeah,
No,
jump
you
in.
go right
yeah.
ahead. Like I said, I'm going to have to hire an employee, and so I'm going to have to let go of this kind of control. So,
Right.
but it is kind of funny. Are you noticing it thickening up a bit?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and
something
you know,
in there.
if
It's all
this
good.
is a good opportunity for a training video,
Yeah. No,
just
this is fantastic.
Think of it that way. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
How thick does it feel like it's thickened up at all, or does it feel like it's still
A little bit. Do you want to give it a try?
Something.
Oh.
That's, I know what that is. It's a little bit of soap from the inside of the blender.
Ah.
Yeah, every so often, I thought I blew up my blender yesterday.
Oh, really?
I immersed it in water by accident, like the whole motor.
They're pretty tough.
They are pretty tough, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got.
And keep mixing, yeah?
Keep mixing.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. You can probably pour about up to here.
Yeah.
Full of the soap batter. So I'm going to stop mixing. Oh, there's another one. Darn it. Oh, I'll have to catch it. It's all good.
Okay.
It's just soap. It's not going to do anything.
On the counter's okay still?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll get out of the way.
So about to here, you said?
Yeah, that should be good.
Half-ish?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
It's all
Instantly
good.
fired.
Keep going. Keep going. That's good. Oh, that's so good. Okay.
So with a spill like this,
Yeah,
you don't want to...
This is a clean counter, so I'm I'm just going to do this, and we'll salvage what we can. And
Yeah, I was more concerned about the salvaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
With the rest, we'll just don't worry about it. It'll be totally fine.
Perfect TV.
Yeah, this is... It's all part of the experience. There you go.
We just want you really ready for when you have.
You know what? Oh, these teenagers of mine have wore off every edge. Like, I'm pretty chill. Pretty chill now. Okay.
Right on.
This is food grade titanium dioxide. Now I know that there's some controversy. It's in my opinion just a mineral.
Right.
I don't see it. I mean, people put it in cakes, they put it in frostings, they put it in everything. But yeah, anyway, I use it as a little bit of a whitener for my soap. I don't put a whole lot in. It's just like a couple tablespoons.
Okay.
But you want to give that a blend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but a huge difference. So a lot of these bars here have that in it.
Okay. Wild.
Do you want to be on TV, Ro? No. Okay. She's like, what the heck?
What is happening in my kitchen?
Okay, so this is red French clay.
Okay.
So this is going to be our swirl color. So this is going to darken a little bit and be sort of a champagne color. So we're doing champagne, strawberries and champagne, right? And this is going to be our strawberry color. So that's why I put this combination together.
Oh, gotcha.
So when you mix this, be really careful because it does kind of come up really fast. But I'll let you mix that.
I don't know if I'm going to make any more of a mess.
No, you're good. It'll just be a red mess now. Yeah, give her. And then that's pretty cool, hey? That's one of my favorite parts, actually.
Yeah,
is
that's
just
pretty
seeing the
wild.
color change. I love it. There you go. Yeah, and just kind of move it up and down a little bit, and it's going to thicken and make sure that all of that clay is really dispersed well.
Whereabouts do you source most of your materials? Or is that...
I try to get them as much local product as I can. I mean, obviously, a lot of the things I can't get locally.
Yeah.
So there is a distributor out of Calgary that I get a few things from. All the botanicals I get out of my mother-in-law's garden. She's so sweet.
More?
That's probably good, actually. I'm just chatting away.
Oh, yeah. All good.
And then I like to get as much off as I can so that This one is
there we
hard
go.
to clean. There you go. All right, you can put that over there too. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to let you do it because I'm going to watch you.
Right.
So we're going to fill them probably about a third full.
Okay.
Is that about a third? Maybe a little bit more than a third, but you can do the rest.
Okay.
Okay, they are a little bit tricky, but
I'll
I'm
follow,
going to get right out
follow
of the way.
your lead there. Get it right.
Mess it up.
I'm like a trucker most times. I've been really
Oh,
refrained.
I think you've both been really good.
High five.
How's that looking?
That looks perfect.
All right.
Good.
Back on the landing pad there.
There you go. Okay, so now this is a little bit tricky. You're going to do this as well.
Okay.
Let's see, how thick is... Oh, that's actually perfect. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pour it onto the spatula. I'm going to get a bit of a bigger spatula.
Okay.
Hang on here.
And that just kind of disperses it, kind of like you're mixing.
Yeah,
a
it's
cocktail.
just so that it all doesn't go down
Yep.
to the bottom.
Right.
Because this is a little bit heavier than this. So you want it kind of laying on the top.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to let that go like that. And then move your spatula over.
Okay.
Okay.
And then that direct pour will
And the
be a little
direct
bit
pour
deeper?
will be a little bit deeper.
Okay,
Yeah. So I'm going to let you finish
on.
that off. Yeah. Look at you. You get to make soap today. What a perfect day.
I had no idea. This is...
It's so good.
How much?
Yeah.
About that much?
Well, we're going to use the whole thing for
Yep.
all four.
Okay.
So we can come back.
Okay, yeah.
So you can
I
keep
didn't
going.
I didn't do a direct, but
It's all good.
okay.
It's all good. Once we stir or make the swirls with the spoon, it'll all get down in there too. That's right. Good. Look at you go. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
definitely feels akin to baking.
Yeah, right? It really does. It really does. But there's something so satisfying about it. Like I said, in the middle of the night, I would just be like, oh my goodness, this is so good for my soul. It's just so creative and fun, and
So
you never know.
You'd get up like all hours and
All hours of the night. The stuff we went through.
keep adding.
Keep going. Keep
Okay.
going. Yep. This one could use a little bit more, and this one could actually use a little bit more because we still
Okay.
have to put the white back on top. So
Right.
we'll even it out with the white. Looks good. Great.
Do a direct pour and then
Yeah, give her.
a scoop.
Sure. Perfect. Yeah, good. I'm just going to clean out the rest
For sure,
if you
yeah.
don't mind. And
Yeah.
throw that in the sink. There we go. And then what I like to do is just make sure that it's kind of all in the one area. So I just give it one of those.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that
No,
made
yeah, knock it down off
kind
the
of
walls.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. That's better
Mhm.
English than what I'm doing. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. So we're going to put the white layer on top and try not... Yeah, it's a little bit thin still,
Oh yeah.
but that's okay.
Would more time let it
A
set
little bit
harder?
more time would be
Okay.
better, but... Do you want to do it?
Very cool. Sure.
Yeah. So you want them all approximately the same height.
Okay.
And you don't want to just drop it in, do it quite slow so that it sits on top. Yeah, that's perfect. There you go.
Something like that.
Yep. Yep, that's great. See, it's starting to set up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a little bit thicker. Good. Okay.
We're using all of it, or
We are going to use all of it.
okay.
Yep. And we'll just...
Oh yeah, this one's definitely a little higher.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll just go like this. Should be getting close. Sorry, I didn't mean to totally take that away from
No, no, it's no. You're the chef here.
you. I'm the chef.
What is the actual? Is there an actual title for soap makers?
I think it's just soap making.
Yeah.
I think so.
A soaper?
I haven't heard of anything a soaper. Yeah. It's a messy job.
Well, especially when you have
It's all good.
inexperienced hands.
Good. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more to this, just because it's just a little bit short.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this determines how tall your bars are, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah. There we go. That's pretty even, I would say. And then I'm going to. This is where I get really classy. I use toilet paper to wipe everything out.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper than paper towel. Okay. So now you're going to swirl. And this is how you swirl. Go in, twist, twist, and move it down, and move it back up as you're twisting.
So you're rolling the spoon down, or bottom to top.
Bottom to top, yeah.
Okay.
And then go the opposite direction.
Ah.
Same thing. And that's how you get your cool swirls.
Wow.
You go ahead.
All right. So doing a clockwise first?
Yep. And you can twist it while you're going up and down, like actually twist the spoon a few times. Yeah, good.
Would you do more twists?
I would probably do a few more twists, but you go right ahead.
And then counterclockwise here?
And then counterclockwise, yeah. Do the exact same thing. Yeah, that's good. Weird, eh?
Definitely brings me back to like messing with my nieces or nephews, you know.
Yeah.
back in their spoon fed.
Spoon fed. I'm gonna mess you up.
Here comes the
Your
airplane.
mom's gonna pay for some therapy when I'm done.
I get taught them, they can feed themselves eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot more streamlined.
That's so good. Yeah, that looks fantastic. Great.
Are you able to, like I know with some of the bars that are on the shelf there, I noticed like quite consistent between between the same ones. Are you able to like set a design in your head?
Yes.
And you're able to like replicate that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I imagine it's
Not always.
different every time.
Just because it is chemistry, right? And so it depends on the heat in the room, how quickly it sets up. It depends on how much I blend it. Depends on the oils that I'm using. There's a lot of variables. Mm-hmm. So I don't always have the consistency of doing it exactly the same every time.
Have you done that? Gone one way and then gone back the other way?
No. But hey, why not? That's fantastic.
I guess you'll find out.
We'll find out how it goes. So with the 3 layers that I showed you on the Tanglefoot, so I started with a cocoa layer, and then I did a little bit of white, and then I did green French clay, white, and then the blue is the indigo powder. So then when I twist it, it's twisting them all together.
Right.
But you're still getting the layers, right?
Right.
So that was the blue and the white and the green and the brown one, which is it's so cool.
It looks, I mean, they all look pretty.
They all look okay? Oh, good. Yeah, so you're done. That's all I'm going to do now is we're going to put them in the freezer, but I'm just going to take the sides.
Oh, I've definitely just
move the sides away from.
What kind of swirls are most like the ones you guys were making?
It's a 2-color swirl. Yeah, that's similar. Yeah, that one's similar. Kind of like this one. One of those ones.
Just so people can see.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's still tying it.
Yeah, so this is sort of the swirl that we will get in the end.
Right on.
Just different color. Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm just going to take it away from the sides, and then we'll throw it in the freezer. And it sits in the freezer for 4 hours.
All right.
And then I will take it out, and then tomorrow I will cut it. I appreciate your help. You did really good.
Thank
It's
you.
fantastic. You didn't know you were going to make soap today, did you?
I had no idea. Yeah, no, I was
Yay! Surprise!
right on.
This is so good. All right, out to the freezer she goes.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that was, yeah, definitely science. And definitely a little bit messy, kind of like cooking, you know? Just cleaner. Yeah, look at this spotless countertop. And literally clean too. Yeah,
And literally.
very, very cool. Watch back there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I had no idea how to make soap, and still definitely a lot of mysteries.
It's kind of fun though, hey?
It definitely is. Yeah, that's wild. Cut. Yeah.
Just say something as an outro.
Ah.
So then when you come...
Well, I think we'll probably both. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. When you come back, maybe we can show everybody the bar that you made.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's going to
Oh.
have to cure for a few weeks.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
next time you come back, get in touch, and I'll give you a couple bars of the soap that you made.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
This is my classy clean job with toilet paper. Works like a hot dang. You can take your gloves off if you want.
Oh,
to
yeah?
do it. Yeah, there's a garbage over here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, there you go.
That was very
Welcome
educational.
to the soap kitchen.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jan.
Yeah.
That was really
Fun,
fun.
eh?
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
time.
A good little
Yeah.
a peek into, you know, your extremely busy life, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know how you managed to come in on like the slowest day we've ever had, but here we
That's
are.
perfect.
I'm so grateful.
Perfect. Yeah.
There's no dogs or kids or anything around. It's crazy. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So-
I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
I'm
And,
sure glad you stopped by.
Yeah. I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, me too.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll be in touch.
Sounds good. Looking
I
forward
love
to
it.
All
I
right.
love it.
Thanks, folks. Till next time.
We are here in the middle of Cranbrook in Rotary Park, and Darcy Rossau has kindly agreed to sit down with us and show us some of her amazing artwork. She's a Tanaka artist based here in Cranbrook and focuses on beading, but has a very, very long list of skills that just seem to keep coming out. So yeah, welcome, and I'll hand it off to Darcy to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Darcy Luke. As Emma said over here, I'm a Tanaka artist. I'm from Cranbrook, BC. I've lived here my whole life. I specialize in beading, although I also do digital illustration, painting, moccasin, and mitten making. Yeah, I do quite a few things, but I think today we're focusing more on my beading. And as I am Tanaka, I'm going to introduce myself in Tanaka. So kisu kikit hu gaklik Darcy Luke, hun ini Tanaka hu gaki gaki yakidak no klet. Husukil kuknena san mietke.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself so beautifully.
Thank you.
We appreciate you sharing both languages with us. So start off, what got you into beading? How did you start?
I've always loved artwork, but actually when I was in middle school, I went to some kind of retreat, I guess you could call it, for the Indigenous students. It was over in Nelson. Now I can't remember what it was about, but they had set up beads and stuff outside, and I picked it up, and I just fell in love with it.
What is it about it that you love?
I find it so soothing. It's like medicine to me. You know, I mean, I do it every day. It just kind of washes everything away.
That's beautiful. So walk me through it. If you're making like a pair of earrings, like these ones, how do you do it? What's the process?
So something like this, I would pick out my cabs, as I call them, or the little centerpieces. Then I'd glue them onto a piece of pellin, which is just like a really thick interfacing. And then I kind of just like have a vision in my mind of how it's going to look, and I start beading.
That's amazing. So you don't like make a design or a plan or anything before? It's really just that instinct of knowing what's going to look good?
It depends on what the project is. So something like this, I just kind of let it flow. Whereas something like this, I would design out beforehand.
Okay.
So I do all my designs on my iPad, and then I print them out and I just bead right on top of them.
Wow, that's really cool. Can you walk me through, you have a lot of different types out here, so just starting with the earrings, I know you have a couple different collections. Can you walk me through the different collections of earrings you have here?
Sure. So these would be part of my vintage collection. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head where these cabs are from. I think Czech Republic, and I think the 1970s they're from. So everything in my vintage collection has vintage cabs. And then these were actually a custom order, but the order fell through, so I've just kind of been hanging on to them. So they're not really part of any collection. And these aren't exactly part of a collection either. I like to have small collections, but I also just like to call it free beading.
I love that. So what kind of inspires you? Like where do you look for inspiration to make these? Because they're all so different and so beautiful.
Yeah. Sometimes I just see things. I can be doing anything in the middle of my day, washing dishes, and I'm like, hey, there's an idea. Or sometimes I just scroll through social media and I see something that inspires me, and I kind of recreate it in my own little way.
That's lovely. What's one of your favorite creations you've made lately? I know it's a big question. You make a lot of different art.
It is. Now, what would you consider lately is the thing.
Well, what comes to mind first when you think of like your art? What's something that really seems like your art?
Probably my medallions, such as this one over here. Most of my medallions are custom ordered, so I don't have any on hand, but this one I made just for the sake of making it, and I really love strawberries. I don't know why, I just love them.
The look or the taste or the...
A little bit of both. I think they're really pretty, and I love beading them, so I thought I'd put a bunch in a medallion.
It's neat you have three different types of strawberries, it looks to me like a little bit.
Yeah.
I like the color change to this one. And I guess these are the same, but different sizes, and one is a flower, so it looks different.
Yeah, so this one's kind of like cut through the middle.
Oh. That's beautiful.
Yeah, but usually when I think of my art, I think of my medallions or these. These are like my prized possession.
I can see why. And so starting with the medallions, can you walk me through the process of how one makes one? You described it before and it sounded so simple, but it's definitely not.
Sure. So usually, like I said, usually my medallions are custom ordered. So a customer would come to me with a design or a photo that they even have already in mind. And then I pull it up on my iPad, and I kind of I have like a template for the circle that I just put on there. And then I go through the designing part of it, how I want it to look, where I want colors to be. And then I print it out. And same as the other ones, I just put it on a piece of pellin and I pick out my colors and go for it. I mean, each medallion is so unique in their own way. None of them will ever be the same, even if they are the same design. And then of course there's attaching the rope to them, which I have to bead all beforehand. So medallions take a lot of time. I think this one probably took me about 8 hours. But to date, the most I've ever spent on one was 20 hours.
Wow. And was that a particularly intricate design? Or?
It was, yeah.
Okay. Wow. They're so beautiful.
Thank you.
And why is a medallion something to be worn on the daily? Is it like an art piece that you'd wear in the same way as earrings? Or is there more to it that I don't know about?
It's really up to the person that owns it and wears it. A lot of people only wear them on special occasions, but I have seen people wear them on the daily as well. It depends on the medallion and what it means to them.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And I've seen too, looking through your different medallions, you have this really beautiful and interesting array of designs. You go from like the Oilers to like flowers, and like, can you talk a little bit about why you pull from so many different places?
That's the custom design. That's
okay.
all my lovely customers and supporters. I mean, none of them are the same, right? So they all want their own thing. The Oilers do seem to be very, very popular within the Native community, so that's where that comes from. But then there's pieces like this where that's all me.
That's awesome. And how does it feel for you doing a custom piece versus doing something that you were inspired to do while washing dishes?
See, I love doing both. I really like doing custom orders because I know that I'm making someone happy and they're loving that piece. But at the same time, it does get exhausting. I can get a lot of custom orders at a time, and then I feel quite burnt out afterwards. I love it, but it does have, it's exhausting. But doing my own thing, it's very free, and it's very, very soothing to me because I know I can do whatever I want, and I'm not limited to a design of someone else's choosing.
That's amazing. So how has it been for you to take something, I'm very impressed by that it's both something you love and you do on the daily, whether or not you're being paid, but you've also turned it into a successful business. Can you talk a little bit about how you balance those two different pieces of your beading?
Sure. I would definitely say that my beading business has taken off and it is quite successful. And I'm not great at balancing that yet. I'm getting there.
It's hard.
I've been learning to say no, which is important. I tend to take on a lot more that I can handle, and then I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't take any more. I got to do what I need to do. So I'm still learning that piece.
Good for you. How long have you had a beading business? Like, when did you start selling your pieces?
I started selling them probably in 2020, I think. Obviously the pandemic hit and I was at home a lot more, and that's really when I started really beading. I've been beading since I was 15. But yeah, 2020 hit and I went from there, and it took a lot of time to get to where I am now. I was not always a very good beader. And then I decided to open up a website, and it was very slow at first, but yeah, it's taken off.
That's really cool to see.
Thank you.
What led to the change? Because you started out as mountain art, right?
I did, yes.
What led to the change from being mountain art to now being cedar and pine design?
I liked mountain arts, but it was never really something that felt like me. You know, I don't know why I chose mountain arts. I think probably because here in Cranbrook, with all the beautiful mountains surrounding us, this is my home, so that's just kind of something that resonated with me, but it never felt like me. And then last year I decided that I needed a change. So I thought really long about it, and it took me quite a while to figure out cedar and pine. But it came from my daughter Cedar and pine. So I grew up in my campground down in Grasmere, which is Yukaduk, where is my home community. And the massive pine trees around there. I used to love them as a kid. I still do, but so my daughter is cedar and I'm pine. That's where it came from.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's a lovely title, and knowing the story behind it, even more lovely.
Thank you.
You talked a little bit before about growing up in a campground. Will you elaborate a little bit?
Sure. My parents have had a campsite out at this campground in Grasmere on Lake Koocanusa since I was 3 months old. So, I mean, I grew up there, right, in the summers. I was there from March until October every year, and it was my favorite place. I'd cry when my parents brought me home because I loved it so much.
I bet. Oh man, that must have been a beautiful place to grow up.
It was. It really was. So it's always been my home. I mean, I was born here in Cranbrook, and Cranbrook is where my home is, but my heart is there.
That makes complete sense. You always hope home is where the heart is, but sometimes there's many different places that mean a lot.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter?
She's almost 2 now.
She must be such a cutie.
She is, yeah.
Is she already starting to get into art, or are you holding off for now?
I got her a coloring book a couple weeks ago, and she loves it. So yes.
Following in your footsteps? I love it.
But she likes to color in anything but the coloring book.
Yes, classic. Has she found the walls yet?
Once. She prefers the window.
And is she doing it like with erasable ones, or is it like straight to the Sharpies?
No, I haven't given her Sharpies yet. It's
good call. Good call. Smart mom.
Crayons and washable markers. So.
Oh, you are smart.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time, though.
She'll find them somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So, like your daughter with the many different services, I know you do a lot of different types of art. Will you tell me a little bit more about the other beautiful things you do outside of beading?
Sure. I do a lot of digital illustration.
Take your time. We have all the time in the world.
Yeah. I'm not really sure like how I got into wanting to do that, but I did. Again, back in 2020, I applied for like a grant through the Tanaha Nation to get an iPad, and I received it, which was so appreciated. And I just fell in love with the digital illustration. So in my position with it for the Tanaha Nation, I do a lot of illustrating. I've illustrated some of our Tanaha legends and books. Yeah, I've done quite a bit with that. But for my personal business, I also do illustrations for like organizations and companies, online things, logo design. Yeah.
And you paint and tattoo as well, right?
Yeah. I actually started my art career by painting. I started painting when I was like 3 or 4 out in my campground, actually, and I used to sell the rocks that I painted on. So young entrepreneur right from the start.
Yeah, that's impressive. I don't know many people that were turning their art into a profit before the age of 5.
Right.
That's impressive.
And then as I got older, I got better, obviously.
Good.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And people started to want to buy my art, and it was very encouraging. So I just kept going, and I've done things from, small paintings to large-scale murals.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
And tell me a little bit more about the design you do with the Tanaha Nation, because I know most recently you painted the side of one of their vans, one of the angel vans.
Yeah, so I did that on my iPad. That was a digital illustration, and then they turned it into like a decal of sorts. So I do quite a lot of that kind of thing. Not the decal so much as the design. A lot of the time they ask me to sit in on meetings or read over like a document that they're writing and kind of create an illustration to go along with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It helps to have a visual instead of rather just reading through a boring document.
Visuals make the world go round. I don't understand how people work off just word, but there's huge value to it, but visuals make a big difference, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I will sometimes ask you very obvious questions, but bear with me because I want to hear your story.
Sure.
What is the value for you in doing that work with the nation? Like, why not just focus on your beading and on your business?
I love being able to do things that are meaningful for my nation. They've helped me in so many different ways, and I feel like this is my way to give back. Even though I am getting paid from them, I still feel like I'm doing something that's good, especially things like the van, for example, because people see that around town and they're like, oh, what's that? Like it brings attention to things that might go missed otherwise.
That makes a lot of sense. We actually saw your van going for dinner one night. And
Oh,
we were
yeah?
like, oh, what a beautiful van. And then like I found the article about you and I was like, oh, that's so cool. We get to meet her. But yeah, it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
There's so many different things you do. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about your tattoos. I hear you're a recent tattoo artist. You also added that to your repertoire?
Aspiring, I would
Okay.
say. I've wanted to be a tattoo artist since I was like 10. And apprenticeships never did really work out for me. So I've kind of taken it upon myself to just teach myself and my family, meaning my husband.
So your daughter?
Maybe one day.
When she's grown.
Yeah. I wouldn't exactly call myself a tattoo artist. I'd say aspiring tattoo artist. I still have that hope in me that one day I'll become a tattoo artist, but yeah.
That is so many different avenues. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so did you do these tattoos?
I did, yeah.
So why are they all on your left, Darcy?
Because I'm right-handed.
I think that's great. One sleeve, one empty hand. That's cool. Do you want to talk about the specifics of these tattoos, or do you want to move on to other things?
Yeah, we can move on.
All right. So we're in the middle of Cranbrook right now, and you grew up here, you grew up in the campground, and as an adult, you've chosen to make it your home as well. What is it you love about Cranbrook that's keeping you here?
I love the size. It's not too small. It's not too big. And I love the mountains. The mountains will always bring me home. I think Fisher Peak is everyone's favorite, but Mount Baker is mine. An elder that has passed away a couple years ago, Herman Alpine, he told me about the story of Mount Baker, or Akinmi as we call it. And it's always been my favorite legend. And since he told that story to me, it's been my favorite mountain since.
That makes sense. Is it one of the mountains that's part of the creation story, or is that
One of them.
one of them? It's very cool. And so how long now then have you lived in Cranbrook, in this land?
Well, I'm 23, so 23 years.
That's cool. It's always so many people like grow up somewhere and then they're like, I want out of here as quick as possible. It doesn't matter where it is. And I love hearing what keeps people where they are, what they love about the community they're in. So thank you for sharing a bit with us. So then, was your daughter born in Cranbrook?
She was actually born in Calgary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. She had quite the little journey when she was born. So she was born with an Albertan birth certificate,
Oh, wow.
much to my demise.
That's terrific. I won't pry too much in the personal, but it's just lovely. Yeah, lovely your family's here and it's where you grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing it back full circle, I want to ask you even more questions about the beading.
Sure.
Because we have it all here, and it's just, like we said, visuals are valuable. Tell me about the gloves, the mittens you made.
Sure. My favorite story. I kept seeing people on social media making these mittens. Not so much the gauntlet mittens, but just regular mittens. And I was like, hey, I want to make those too. So I got all the stuff, printed out a pattern.
So soft.
Yeah, rabbit fur is amazing. And I had this plan. These are my second pair actually, but these are my children. So I cut all the pieces out and then I started beading, because you have to bead before you put them together.
Okay.
So my favorite thing to tell people, they ask me how long these mittens took. The entire original and prequel Star Wars trilogy, plus I think 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. So for non-Star Wars fans, that's about 17 hours.
Holy fuck. That so much time.
Yeah, so it took me 15 hours just to do the
Wow.
beading alone on this pair,
Wow.
and then another 2 to put them together.
Makes
There's not
sense, though.
there's not any story behind the design on them or anything, but I like telling people that story.
It makes sense though. You can see the work in them for sure. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
And what are the different pieces that it's made of? Like, what is the?
Yeah, so this is buckskin,
Mhm.
and then they're lined with just like fleece.
Nice and soft.
And they've got rabbit fur, and then just cotton fabric for the tops here.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And do you have hopes of making more to sell them? Because I know it sounds like these are not going anywhere. These are staying with you.
They are for sale.
Oh wow.
I know that I have them listed at a high price,
Mhm.
so that's probably why they haven't sold yet. But I don't feel like letting them go for a lower price.
I mean,
Yeah, if they stay with me forever, they stay with me forever, and I'm okay with that.
doesn't seem like a bad thing to keep around.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful to keep with you. And do you have plans to make more of them?
I do,
Or-
yeah. Eventually.
Sounds like a long time commitment.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense you're keeping them at a high price point. Like that much work going into them and the materials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to let them go for lower. So beautiful.
Thank you.
And so I know you have a couple other design lines that aren't here. I know you make uterus earrings.
I do, yeah.
How did those come about? What was the inspiration?
I think it happened last year or something when there was a bunch of ruckus going on in the States about women's rights. And I'm very much an advocate for women's rights. And I was like, hey, I think these would be popular. So I made 1 pair and people loved them. So I made a couple more, and they sold as soon as I opened my website. Like 30 minutes within opening my website, they sold. So
Wow.
I'm definitely gonna have to make some more. They're one of my favorite pieces, absolutely.
And then you also have like the hearts line, right? You make a lot of heart earrings?
Yeah. Yeah, so I started, my very first collection actually was my floral hearts. And those actually went to a famous person. I don't know if I can say on here, but...
Oh, you definitely can say on here.
Oh, okay. They went to Jillian Harris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that gained a lot of attraction to my
I'm so sorry.
my
There's a bug
website.
on you.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
just gonna get rid
No,
of it.
I appreciate that.
Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. So they went to her and that gained a lot of traction on my website. But unfortunately I had to shut down my website shortly after that. But that was my first collection, the floral hearts. And from there I started making more, and then, yeah, different designs of hearts. People like them, I like them.
They're really beautiful.
Thank you.
So you're here right now. You have a very successful beading business, your family in Cranbrook, and a lot of different arts going on all simultaneously. What's next for you? Where do you want to take this business? Do you have plans or ideas?
I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. I have been working on a lot of custom orders the last few months, and I'm finally finished them. So I've started working on some more stuff for my website, and hopefully I'll have another drop maybe in July. And then I have a couple murals planned for this year and next year. So I'm doing one for the Tanaha Nation again in their building this summer, and then next year I'm doing a mural for Foundry, East Kootenay. I don't know if you know what that is.
I know of them, but tell me anyway, so we get to hear all about it.
Foundry is like a walk-in clinic for youth mental health services. It's just actually down the road here, but I'm going to be doing a massive mural on the side of their building next year with a bunch of youth helping me. So,
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah,
So is it youth that would be involved with the clinic normally?
potentially. I think it's kind of any youth that wants to be involved.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
you'd be like kind of teaching them as they go? Or
Yeah.
That's awesome. How does it feel to be working with people and teaching them the skills that you've built?
It feels really good because, I was there at one point too. I have done this before. I've worked in some of the elementary schools when I was younger doing murals with some of the students. And it was a lot of fun. It's cool to be the teacher rather than the student, so
Really cool. Oh, those kids are lucky.
thank you.
That is most of the questions that I have for you. Is there anything you feel we haven't touched on that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Then if any of our audience wants to take a look at your work, where can they go?
So you can check out my website. It's kind of a funky URL because I don't want to pay Square the extra money to have my own domain. So it's cedarandpine.square.site.
Super straightforward.
Yeah. Or I have my Instagram page, which I think is just Cedar and Pine Design, and my Facebook page as well.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I think that's just about it for us. But thank you so much for your time. It was so cool to see all of your designs and talk about them a little bit. I know you were shy, but I think you nailed it.
Thanks.
I hope you feel like you did too. But yeah. Thank you everybody for joining us. This has been Dusty Tracks BC.
Hey folks, welcome back to Dusty Tracks BC. I'm here in a house, but also a workshop of Alta Leather Designs, and with me is Alberta.
Hi.
Thanks for graciously allowing us to film in your house
Thanks.
and also your workshop. And yeah,
It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. These products you make,
I do.
very, very stunning, very beautiful.
Thank you.
You have a few pieces here, but we also have a bit of surprise on the way to your workshop, I think.
Okay. Yeah, some of these are a collection of some of the bags that I make, and this is the products that I enjoy making the most.
The bags and
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I can see why. You're explaining a little bit before about stitch work and a bit about the name, and also like stitch versus machine. Yeah, like that. I've done a little bit of sewing.
Yes.
Either tree planting or out and abroad, and just needed to fix my jeans or something, but definitely nothing this intricate.
Right.
Yeah, would you explain a little bit about?
Sure. In leatherwork, typically the stitching that you see is called saddle stitching, and it's a process where you use 2 needles on the end of one piece of thread, and you go back and forth through the same holes.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because it's a 2 rows of stitching over the same course. So if there's rub and the stitch breaks, it's still held together, and you can easily just add some stitching in the area where the break was.
Oh.
Yeah, and so this was preferred for like cowboys or people out working out in the field that used leatherwork for their saddles or for their clothing. It was easily repairable, but wouldn't fall apart like our normal clothing falls apart.
That explains why I have holes in my pants. That makes total sense. Yeah. So you have it's the same piece of thread, or what else do you use?
There's options. I use like a polyester thread. You can use linen thread. There are some bags that I've done in the past. And another example I have, it's with leather stitching or leather lacing. So there's multiple ways to stick it together.
Oh, that is fascinating. I'd hope you'd definitely show us some.
Sure.
Little later on, but so these are the pieces that you enjoy making the most.
I do, yeah. Some of them I designed myself, like this one and this one. This one was created as my daughter asked me to make a circle bag for her. She had a broken bag that she got at a secondhand store, and she said, "It's falling apart. Can you please make me one?" So I figured out the design and made her one like this. So now I'm making more. This is a design where I purchased the pattern, which is another option. Sometimes you make your own, and sometimes you can buy pattern from other leather crafters.
Very cool. Very cool. So I didn't even think about that. Do you, if you're making one, this one I believe, can you then go and patent your design, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can patent it. I don't know if it's worth it. In the leathercraft community, typically people just share or sell their designs for a nominal fee, and they will tell you at point of purchase you can make it for sale, or you can make it for only for yourself. So it depends. Cool. But the cost for a leather pattern, for example, for this bag, I bought a leather pattern, and it was, I think, less than $10 for the pattern, and I can use it as much as I want, and I can sell the product. And so this is the same pattern, but I took it to a print shop and I had them expand it by 10%.
Oh.
And so then I can make a bigger version of it. Yeah.
And you're also incorporating like a different material as well.
Yeah, so this material that I got here is Dacron. It's actually a upcycled sail fabric, which I got from my brother, who's a sail repair person. And so he just helped me get in contact with fabric. It's very strong and it's lightweight, so it's really a nice match for working with leather, because leather can be heavy. Yeah.
I thought it felt a little bit familiar.
Yeah, and the big cross stitch, right?
Yeah. Beautiful. What other pieces do you have here for us?
Let's look at my big box store. So I make a series of wallets. So this card coin purse, typical men's wallets, card slot holders, luggage tags, other types. I've done a few different belt designs. I've got that one there. And for these pieces, I collaborated with a very local artist. My daughter painted the leather, and then I recreated the leather into these designs.
That's fantastic. Wow. What sort of paint do you, like, what sort of paint goes best with
it's
leather?
An acrylic type of paint.
Yeah.
Designed for leather.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow. Very beautiful artwork.
Thanks.
I like it. I was definitely eyeing up some of your wallets.
Yeah.
I have a leather wallet, but it's not
It's falling apart, is
not
it?
nearly as nice as these. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some of the stitching is definitely coming out.
Well, I'll give you a lesson
Not
later
as-
and you can repair it.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, that would be great.
So this is one of the products that I made, also at the request of my daughter, and I call it a lip sling. It's for holding your lip balm, and you can put it on your keys or wherever. So
And some earrings here as well.
yes, these
yeah.
are made by my daughter.
Oh yeah.
She's a student, and so these items I sell for her, I guess.
Beautiful. Yeah.
These are some of my home goods. I like to make stuff for the home. It's a big magazine book storage thing for the floor, coasters and hot mats and plant. I call this a plant cozy. Also clutch purses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you put the how do you get this design?
Yeah, so this is a process where you case the leather, and so you soak it, and then you, with a lot of pressure, push in the design that you want. And so in this one, these are chain rings, obviously off a bicycle. These small brands are my own design. These brands I make. So these ones I've sent away for and have them professionally made because they're so intricate. But this one I made myself with wire.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
And use a little bit of tooling as well to give the pattern of the flower.
Yeah. So it's similar, kind of like pressing a flower between a book, a large book, but just.
But doesn't take so long.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
like I hold it for about 10 seconds and
no way.
it stays. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the leather's moist and
Yes.
it's
yeah.
absorbed all that water.
Yes.
That's wild. Yeah. I also see that you have a bike tattoo. Is that a reoccurring theme in your?
Definitely. I love bicycles. I love riding my bike. So, yeah.
Yeah. We were out a little while ago, checking out some trails here in Cranbrook.
Trail riding, cycling in this area is very popular, and there's a lot of it everywhere.
Yeah. Definitely, the trail system looked. We saw a fraction of it, a small portion of it, and it seems like it just goes and goes for.
And there's many areas to go to in different, all around all around Cranbrook in every direction. There's trails. Yeah.
I can see why. Yeah, incorporating it. Living around here, biking quite often, beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
You'd want to incorporate it into your art.
Yeah.
That's wow, beautiful. So where are we here?
So this is my studio. Keep all my supplies here. Industrial sewing machine, selection of thread, all the tools for cutting and finishing leather. Yeah. This black area here is where I store my leather, and I need to keep it covered because the sun will change the color of it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
How fast is that
Pretty fast.
process?
Instantly.
Really?
Like in a day, it's very slowly changes color,
Yeah.
but it does change just an hour out, and you can see.
In direct sunlight.
Even this indirect sunlight will cause change, but it's slower.
Wild. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, as we're doing this interview, are your pieces on the table safe?
Yes, they're safe.
Okay.
Because it's going to happen anyway, so I don't worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People have to understand that about leather is that it accepts whatever is brought its way. So
Right.
the sun or the oils from your hands or the marks, and that is considered the patina, which actually adds value and character.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, having a pair of leather boots, I noticed that it definitely changed quite fast for sure. But didn't even think about. Of course, it's sun damage similar to like anything else it's going to touch.
It's skin.
Yeah.
Just like yours. It's gonna take marks from the sun and from injury and yeah. In fact, many of the hides come with marks on it. They're called range marks.
Right.
And so that's like bug bites and scratches, so scarring, as well as the tattoos from branding.
Have you gotten some leather pieces in that have that?
Yes,
Yeah.
almost all of it has a brand on it
really?
somewhere. Yeah,
That's far out.
yeah.
Whereabouts do you source most of your material?
There's a few Canadian leather supply stores. There's
Yeah.
a couple in Vancouver. There's a couple in Alberta that are good. The ubiquitous Tandy sometimes has stuff that I like to buy, but I often source stuff from the States because they just have more access and something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through the community of leatherwork, like you're able to source a bunch of.
It's because of the community of leatherwork that I've learned about these other places. So initially, I just went to Tandy because that's the only place I knew.
Right.
And I used Google and things like this, but a lot of these shops are new and out of the way, and it's very nice to know the reputation of the shop and what kind of quality material that they have. So yeah.
Definitely. Have you ever worked with like locally supplied? Is that something?
It is a thing.
Yeah.
The indigenous people in this area, the Tunaha, there are members of the band that know how to tan hide, but I've not had the opportunity to work with them. It's a very long process. It takes months and requires materials that I don't necessarily have access to. So I haven't, but it would be interesting to do. And I've heard about in Canada people tanning fish hide, and I'd love to try that.
A fish hide.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. That's pretty wild.
Well, I read about it on CBC. There was an article, and there was a woman who was going around to northern Inuit and northern indigenous communities and teaching them how to tan hides, because many of these things are forgotten by people. And so she was reintroducing this to people that aren't familiar with the process, and I would just love to be able to take that workshop.
That would be fascinating.
Yeah. And you get such an interesting piece of leather out of it.
Oh, I'd imagine it's similar to, I guess the closest I can think of is like maybe snake or
Something. Yeah.
crocodile maybe.
Yeah.
But like scalier.
Yeah, it would definitely have the texture, interesting texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. What sort of pieces do you? Well, you said you enjoy making the purses the most. What sort of pieces do you find yourself gravitating towards outside of purses?
I like home goods the best.
Yeah.
So larger pieces like the big box or things that you use around the house. I just, not sure where it is right now, but I just developed a little trivet, which is a flower shape similar to my flower that's on some of the coasters that I have.
Yeah. The wire pressed one.
Yeah, the wired press one. So, so that's kind of exciting for me because I like to develop the patterns and see what I can do with leather. What is it? What can it give me? So.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't sewed in a while. Actually, the last thing I made was a hot pack. Very, very limited resources. Used some of our beans, and I think it still works today. But definitely. I mean, I like to work with my hands, for sure. It's very evident that you do as well. A very beautiful workshop you have here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to share it.
Yeah. Would you be willing to show us a little bit of your process here?
Sure. So here's an item that I'm getting close to being finished. It's just a little clutch purse, and I have to sew around the edge here. So I measured you can see here, I've started it already and measured the thread to be 3 or more times the length of the distance that I need to sew. And to sew this direction. And so what makes it strong is the stitch goes both ways. So I put it in here, pull it through. And I just hold it down with my other finger and back through the same hole with the other thread.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see if there was like any wear and tear on that
if it wears off on one side,
Yeah.
then the other thread is still holding it together. Yeah.
And is this something you like? Do you work like all times of the day, or do you
No.
blot out a?
No, it's really tiring work, especially if I'm working on a new design or something. Then I can't. What I like to do is I like to cut out a piece one day, and then the next day start working on the sewing part of it. And I usually work 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and about the same in the afternoon at the very most. And my general rule is stop at 4, or when you start to make mistakes, it's time to stop.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Pick it up another day or tomorrow or.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you're planning out a piece, if you would walk me through a little bit of your process. Do you start with?
So if I'm making a piece for somebody, I usually just talk to them about what it is that their intention for that piece is and how they want to use it. I might do some rough sketches with them, and then I sit down with my own kind of mini sketchbook and start to work on ideas that they had and maybe have a few questions for them. So this is drawings for a piece that I finished recently for a friend of mine, and this situation, she sent me a picture, and then I need to talk to her about things that I couldn't see in the picture and how that would actually be constructed. And so I have to think about the construction of it, how many pieces and what order in, because you can't just start anywhere. You have to start in a certain place, otherwise you can't get back to where you were.
Of course, yeah. It looks like you've been sketching for a while. I would definitely be challenged there.
Yeah. So this one, and this has just some of my own ideas in it. So this is not a bag that was for anybody. This is just my own brain thinking up something strange. Yeah.
Do you find at certain points in the day or certain activities bring ideas for pieces?
For me, inspiration comes when I'm relaxed. So on a work day, I can't think of new things. It's like when I'm trying to fall asleep, I might work through a problem in a bag where I might not know how the assembly would work or how to solve certain pocket problem or something like that. So it's often when I'm relaxing, so like falling asleep or after dinner or something like that. So the brain is on my bicycle, the brain is working.
Yeah. And then you go pick up your sketchbook and
make a few drawings.
I can imagine that'd be a little frustrating. You're end of the day, you put the book down on the nightstand and
trying to sleep and wide awake, problem solving.
Reaching for that notebook again. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, definitely good to have, your set work and put the tools down type of schedule.
You can't be in here all the time just doing this. It's very exhausting, very tiring. So,
Yeah.
Especially the hand work, the hand stitching my hands get very tired. So, yeah.
Do you find you take motivation from like when you're out and about biking or hiking or?
Motivation comes from people who ask me things or a problem I want to solve, right? So the circle bag was a problem. My daughter said, can you remake this bag for me? And so I like that kind of work where I'm trying to fix something, or what is the problem that I'm trying to solve? How to hold your wallet and phone in a way where people don't know that you have it. So I'm like, how can I make a really slim pocket for somebody to carry something that hides underneath their jacket? So, yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely like reverse engineer things.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, with the circle purse you're talking about, like,
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's, you can pick it up and look at it, but then to really get into it, you need to probably deconstruct it a little bit.
You definitely need to know, how something like that is put together, and not only the geometry of something, but the way that the leather behaves and how it will be a different size because you bent it or fold it or whatever. So
Feel free to pick it up and show us.
Yeah, definitely showcase.
So this is a circle bag I've been working on, black one. It has this quick draw pocket. And this is the fail.
What is that?
This is the gusset
Okay.
that holds the zipper and the strap. But I made an error, and now this is garbage.
Do you recycle anything like that?
Sure. That's why I haven't thrown it away, because
Right.
this area here is quite useful for something. So I'll cut off these stitching holes and cut off this bend, and this part probably not so much. And just as an example, I have prepared this one, but this one is also a fail. I'm going to have to throw this one away too. So it's another thing where I thought I knew how to do it. And then I'm like, oh, something's a little bit different with this one, with this piece of leather. And the mistake actually was, on a gusset like this, I need a 4mm stitch allowance, and I gave myself a 3mm stitch allowance, and it
You need a little bit more.
changed the way the bag was put together and the way the machine handled it, and so that's a learning thing for me, that I need to take better notes when I make stuff. Yeah.
I think I'm always I mean, to my untrained eye, that I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right. And so, like, my name is Alta Imperfectionist in terms of my leather work, and I'm okay with things not being perfect, and I hope that the people that purchase from me are okay with that. But this is, the error could cause fault in the function of the bag, and so that's not okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of love and care put behind your work.
Yeah, and it's slow going, and that's okay. Like, I'm not here, this is not my living.
Yeah.
I do this for fun.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
It's a great
Even
thing to
make
do
mistakes
for
for
fun.
fun. Yeah. Here's the trivet that I was talking about.
Wow. So there's a bunch of rivets.
Yeah.
But how do you rivet leather?
That's a good question.
Can you hold it up and show us?
Oh yeah, definitely like showcase. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I started with a few drawings.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit of a process of cutting a bunch of leather and trying things and tossing out the pieces that don't work and figuring out, this is another case, like how thick this leather is. And how will it bend and what will it look like once I've bent it. And then figuring out the measurements and transferring it to all the pieces, making the holes, and then adding the rivets. And there's a few different kinds of rivets. These are called double cap rivets, where they kind of look the same on both sides.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a nicer look. Like it looks a bit, doesn't matter which side you look, it looks like the top. So, for example, in this little wristlet, I have planned 3 little holes. So I put the, oops, thank you. Put that in the bottom.
Okay.
And then this, and it snaps in place just so it's holding. Now I have to go out to the garage, and I have the anvil and a hammer to put it together. So we have people that live in a suite, and so to be respectful to them, I don't hammer in the house.
That's very kind.
Yeah, so. So there are other types, but it's basically the same thing. At some point, you have to go out and hammer it together. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Are all rivets hammered, or are they?
At some point, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. So a kind of rivet that many people are familiar with are the type that are on like Levi's jeans.
Right.
And they have a little
A little
tiny little
knob?
piece in the middle. Yeah. And so that's got like a T-shaped, like the first piece I put in. And then you put like a washer on the top. And then you hammer that washer down a little bit. And it gets stuck on there. And you cut off the extra piece of metal you don't need. And then it's called peening. And you use a hammer that is rounded on the end like this one. And that domes you do it a bunch of times and it domes that thing and it will like never come undone.
So for this, have you hammered all of those?
Yeah, but these it's just a couple
Okay.
of swings, and
Yeah.
it's and then the sort of snap like function, the post in the middle gets a bit crushed, and then it's stuck in there, so it's very hard to get out. These are very hard to get out. They're designed not to come apart. Sometimes you can get them apart if you don't get them in properly, but they're really very strong holding. So yeah. So I use a cobbler's anvil for something like this, and so it has a little foot shape I can stick in there and then get in there with the hammer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What's a cobbler's anvil look like? It looks like a foot.
But metal.
Yeah, cast iron.
Cast iron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Have you made any shoes?
No, it's on my list.
Yeah.
I don't want to make shoes like a cobbler would make shoes, but there are kits out there that you can do a kind of where the sole is made and the stitching holes are there, and you just have to cut the leather and sew it on. That's all I want to do. Just. Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a design in mind?
Well, those kits, they just give you the design.
Yeah.
Like they give you the shape and you can do whatever you want with it. And so it looks like a Converse type of shoe, very basic kind of shoe. And there's high, mid, low. And then I've seen people and they've like cut holes in it. They made it look like sandals. Like that part you can do whatever, because the pattern is made, you can do what you want with it. So that's kind of cool.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
This is definitely eye-opening. Like I said, I haven't done much sewing work. A little bit out of necessity. But definitely a great skill to have, I would say.
Yeah. I learned to sew when I was very young. My mom taught me to embroider and to sew, and I liked it back then, which is, maybe not cool to say, but I'm so thankful for it because I've always been able to repair things and a button falls off or something like that. And it's given me this opportunity Like I couldn't imagine coming at this not knowing how to sew.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. Like sometimes those skills are laughed at, but if you've ever been in a situation where you're like, oh, I need to fix this right now.
Yeah. You never know.
I've found myself there many times. I have not a wardrobe, but a few pieces that I'm like, oh, I need to put that button back on.
Right. Yeah.
When you blow up a hot pack, very helpful to know how to sew.
Right? Beans are everywhere otherwise.
Definitely, yeah.
What made you choose to focus on these the pieces that you make? There's so many different things like shoes to make with leather.
Yeah, well, shoes just seem like so complicated. I just can't imagine. Plus, it's like if you want to make a pair of shoes, you have to have the last for you. Right? So the last is the foot thing, the plastic foot thing that's for you. And so I would need one of those for everybody's size. And that's not what I want to do. There are people that want to do it, and I think it's amazing. Like it's a whole nother skill. To me, it's another subset of leatherwork, just making shoes. Right? That takes you as long to learn that as it does just to basic leatherwork, which is what I do. But I'm very practical in my design sensibilities, so I like things that people can use every day and things that I would use every day. And so that's where I come at it, is I want to have stuff that people use all the time. Like, I don't want them to feel like it's so precious they can't use it. It's like, use it. Like, get your oil hands on there, get some scratches on there. Love it and use it.
Pick it up on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even with this one that didn't make the cut for your set of eyes there.
It will though, eventually.
Do you like with this piece here?
Yeah.
Would you repurpose this in any way? Like
the whole thing will be remade. So I'll need to cut another gusset.
Yeah.
And then I'll make, this bag will be made. It's just this piece can't be used. So I'll take the zipper out. I'll take this bit of hardware out and use them. It's not garbage. I mean, this bit of leather is, but it's still happening some way. And
then, everyday item.
Hopefully, for someone, that likes green.
Is that a dye in the leather?
Yeah, so part of the tanning process, they will add dye to the mix, and that's part of it. So you want, I can dye, like the leather. Most of the leather that I use is vegetable tan leather, and it usually comes in a very light, pale color like this. So anything that's not this color or a darkened version of this color has dye in it. And so I typically buy leather different colors because the colors are more stable, more rich. But you can certainly buy some really great dyes, and you can do it yourself. And you can mix those colors and come up with your own dyes. So that's another thing that people do. And painting too, that people paint. They'll
like
do some tooling, and they
might.
Traditional tooling is very like cowboy style, scrolly and flowers, and that sometimes has paint on it as well. Different than
you're talking about earlier, pressing it after it's wet.
Yeah, so that is the tools are hammered in slowly, and it's a kind of a process like drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, so the flower that I did only makes that shape, but the tooling things are not, they can be a shape, Canadian flag or something like that, or they could just be something that you use to draw with. So they will just draw a little piece of the line. So you would tool again and again and again in order to get a line. Or you might cut or carve into the leather as a way to create a design.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just endless, all the ways that people can be creative with leather.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, I imagine if you're cutting into it a little bit, especially if it's a thinner piece, would you like? Is there a guide you'd use, or you just do it all by hand?
People do it by hand. They create a pattern, and then they somehow transfer that pattern onto the leather. And I think it just might be like draw something, and then they, like you would have done in school when you want to recreate that picture onto something else. You
A sketchboard or something.
Yeah, you just use your side of your pencil and color the back, and then redraw it, and the graphite from your pencil goes onto the leather where you draw it a second time, and then you use that as your guide for tooling.
Have you done a little bit of tooling work?
No.
No?
No. Just the stamping, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tooling is a whole nother subset, again, of leatherwork that people are focus on. Like they make things and they tool them, and it's a very slow, careful process.
Do you ever collaborate with anyone in the community, in the leatherworking community?
I haven't.
No?
I've only collaborated with the person who painted my work, which is my daughter, and
Great connections.
I have been asked to collaborate with somebody who wants to do some pottery.
Oh, how would that work?
I don't know. She just asked me, and she said, "Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So I think she's going to make something, and then I'm going to add to it in some way. So,
Kind of like your plant cozy. That's what comes to mind when you say that.
yeah, like it might be a pot, and I have to put some straps on it, or yeah, I don't know.
You do also make flower pots. Is that?
I like hanging.
Sorry.
baskets.
Yes, the hanging.
Yes,
the
I
hanging
do have. I
mechanism for it.
don't have any today, but
Yeah.
they're elsewhere. But yeah, so that's a new product this spring that I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
would be kind of fun for summer and the market season. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. We just saw the first farmers market happen here in Cranbrook, and my goodness, was it huge!
Yeah, it's so well attended. People really love going, and there was a lot of new people this year, I thought, so it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you there the other day?
Just for looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just shopping.
Yeah.
Get my eggs and veggies.
It's a great spot.
Yeah.
Do you attend throughout the year?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
I've been to the Cranbrook Farmers Market the past couple of years. Not every week, but a couple of times
Yeah.
through the season. This year, I'm going to be at the Baines Lake Farmers Market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. And then online, of course.
Always,
Your other
yeah. You
stores,
can always
yeah.
contact me online, and I show my work at. We just changed the name. It's Friends Art Collective in Kimberley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
I'd love to ask more about the farmers market and your community here in Cranbrook.
Mm.
From what we understand, you moved here to Cranbrook, I think 7-8 years ago, a little longer. Tell us about what brought you here and what you like about it.
Sure. Did you want to ask me that question?
Oh, that's okay.
So I came to Cranbrook about 8 years ago. We moved. My husband and kids moved here because my husband got work in town, and we were so happy to be back in British Columbia after being out of province for a while. So it felt really like coming home. And I spent quite a lot of time in the mountains when I was younger, so I just love the environment here. Yeah, and then I got work, and it seems like a good fit for right now. So my daughter is here; she's very happy, and we're hoping my son will come back in the neighborhood in some way. So, yeah. So.
It is a spectacularly beautiful area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a kind of I call it the forgotten corner of the province. We're not even on BC time here, as you noticed, I'm sure, and everything is messed up with all your meetings. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
work around it.
yeah. But I kind of like that it's quiet, like that we don't have a lot of people. There's not a lot of traffic. You know, if we want the city, if we want something exciting, it's really close. So we can just get to Calgary in a day. So, and back in a day if we want to.
And plus a beautiful drive in between here and there.
Amazing, yeah.
Or anywhere you go, really.
Yeah. And that's a great thing about Cranbrook too, is there's highways going in both directions. We can go to the States, a couple of different ways from here, and north, east, west. Yeah.
Yeah, I when we first got into town here, it just struck me it was so similar to where I grew up, and a little bit of mountain biking here and there in the area here, and it was just
Where are you from?
Just jaw dropping. From Lytton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like very similar terrain. You know, the big mountains right there.
Kind of dry.
Extremely dry, I would say. Yeah, there's something about that like interior air that just, and the smell of like a hot pine forest.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And bodies of water, beautiful bodies of water everywhere. And
yeah.
Can I ask another audience question? Sure.
Audience questions, love it.
I'm curious if there's any projects that you haven't made yet that you're excited to make. Is there anything on the forefront that you're...
Yes, good question. I have an idea for like a wall, a thing that you would hang on the wall that might have your scissors in it, some pencils, mail, maybe a mirror, or maybe photographs where you can just tuck photographs in, right? Like a memory kind of wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm planning on this series of pieces that nestle together nicely. So I'm thinking hexagon shape, and because everyone's loving hexagons right now, right? So each will be its own, and then if you want this, you can get that, and if you get a different one later, they would sit nicely together, so you could make a little cluster of something over your desk, or
Yeah, you could put different pieces of it in.
Yeah. So that's, honestly, I have, even in here, we just turned a few pages, and there's about 4 things in here that I haven't gotten around to making, but I designed in my brain, put down on paper. So that part of it, like, I love the design part, and it seems things are always coming up that I find inspirational. So yeah, I like the creativity of that.
Is that one of many notebooks, or is that the notebook?
This is the second one. I had another one that was 3 times as big, which I filled last year. So I decided to keep it easier so I could carry this with me, and it wasn't so obtrusive.
On the go.
Yes, yeah.
I'm curious about your earrings.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm a child of the 80s, and safety pins were a thing in the 80s. These are not actual safety pins, they're actually jewelry, but I like them. It's kind of my slightly unconventional vibe that I like.
They look good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you had just the one, but definitely 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you my watch strap too.
Oh, that's right. You make watch straps.
Yeah, my husband, we suggested he didn't have any hobbies. And then my daughter goes, and you don't know how to use Instagram. And he just set out to prove us wrong. So he started collecting watches, and he started an Instagram page. And now he has quite a big following on Instagram for his watches. Anyway, he gave me this watch, and I wasn't a fan of the strap, so I made my own with my flower stamp.
Oh.
And I've made a few straps. I made, my niece played basketball in university.
Yeah.
And for Christmas, I sent my brother a watch strap made of basketball leather, and little bags and pouches for his wife and daughter. I made it all made out of basketball leather.
I bet it was very well received. A good watch strap is,
Yeah.
Yet again, another thing that's falling apart.
Yes.
That's wild. Are basketballs made of leather? I thought it was.
Yeah. Would you like me to
Really?
show you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Any piece of. Definitely. No way. I don't want to get it super oily.
Yeah, it's okay. You can get it oily. This has got a lot of finish on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can see, and it's very dense. Like this leather is strong and tough. I don't know how they do it, but they must have forms that they compress this flat thing into something round.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I
because
totally.
it's many pieces. Yeah.
I totally thought it was like a manufactured piece of.
Plastic.
Plastic.
Well, I mean, there are those, but game
Well-
balls for high school and university and pro ball, those are leather.
Right.
Yeah.
Very uniform.
Very uniform.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so this
probably
is
the same.
the texture for grip is
Right.
pressed into it, and I think that's why it's so dense, because it's really been compressed already.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Like-
a regular piece of leather, you feel the difference. It's softer and
Yeah.
more pliable,
Yeah.
whereas this one is got a very plasticky feel, so it's got some kind of finish on it as
Which
well.
is why I thought, like, for sure, like a football, like an American football, associate that with leather for sure. But
Yeah.
basketball,
And I can get football leather too.
yeah,
Yeah, make stuff out of, but it's not a thing here. If there was puck leather, that would be really great.
yeah. But I would guess with the wet, with the ice and whatnot. Makes sense though why you wouldn't want your basketball in rain.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That would do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I definitely learned a lot.
It's great to have you here, and thanks for sharing my space and my work.
Oh, thank you for inviting us in and showing us a little peek into your world.
Okay.
Yet another good, a great community to be part of.
Really great.
The leatherworking community,
Yes.
and as well as Cranbrook.
Yeah, yeah. Cranbrook I like it. I think it's interesting. It's a nice size of town, and there's a lot of people here doing lots of different things. So, yeah, it's great to be part of both.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Alberta.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.